All right. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all, and apologies for the late start this evening. We'll ask for everyone's attention. We'll get started. We're actually going to jump right in. First, let me welcome all of you to the May full board meeting for Manhattan Community Board 4. I'm Jessica Chait, Chair of the Community Board, and pleased to call this meeting to order. Just a note on our hybrid policy, it can be found on our website, and board members are expected to attend meetings in person unless they have a disability and or an extraordinary circumstance. Excused committee members and members of the public will still be able to participate virtually, and board members who are joining via Zoom, we ask that you leave your cameras on. This meeting is being streamed live on our YouTube channel, and a transcript is being recorded. The meeting will live on our YouTube channel and is accessible by the public. We have no public hearings this evening, and to accommodate our council member who is being honored tonight at another event, we are actually going to turn it over to Councilmember Bottcher now. We've asked that all electeds respect our 2-minute limit, though we will have time for questions, recognizing that we just have the council member for a short minute. Councilmember Bottcher, we'll turn it to you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I really appreciate this extraordinary accommodation. I did want to make sure to be here tonight. And I'll just mention 2 quick things. One is the big win that we had at 310, 312 West 46th Street today with the indictment of landlord Daniel Shalom. Many of you were with us on the steps of 412 West 46th Street 2 years ago. And I want to acknowledge Jordan Feiner from my office in particular, because we've been working ever since then to hold this person accountable, and it's going to have ramifications far beyond these 2 buildings, because he is in Rikers right now, and Rikers Island, and he's going probably going to go to jail. And we want to make sure that landlords know that if you put your tenants in danger, and if you deliberately put people at risk as a slumlord, then you'll be held accountable. I also wanted to come in and talk about the casino gaming license process. I've had a few people say, I heard that you voted to approve casinos in Manhattan, and nothing could be further from the truth. I am going to ensure that this process has the most public participation and input of any land use application that anyone can remember. And the 2 main differences between the city process and Euler process and the state approval process is in the city process, it's me, as council member, making the decision with an advisory from the community board and the borough president. In the state process, it's my colleagues and I together. One big difference is that in the city Euler process, the community board is written into the process with 60 days to review the application and to weigh in. I'm going to require all these applicants to go to the community boards before the state process starts. Go to the community board, present, meet with the community board, have the public hearings, the public input, and have the community boards issue recommendations before the state process even starts. And on top of that, we're going to layer on so many additional opportunities for people to make their voices heard. This is one of the biggest questions that come before us in a long time, and we're going to make sure that this is extremely comprehensive, and it's 0% more likely to happen than it was 2 weeks ago, rather. And that's my commitment, and I'm really looking forward to partnering closely with Community Board 4 on that. One of the first thing that's going to come before us is the Euler for the Western rail yards, where the application there is to alter the zoning that was agreed to as part of the Western rail yards agreement. And that's something that we're going to be sitting with Community Board 4 about very shortly. And that's a Euler that's probably going to begin this fall.
You.
So I know I exceeded my 2 minutes, but
Yes.
I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Councilmember.
Jessica.
Thank you. No, thank you. We appreciate you taking the time. Just before we move on, and I know you have an event to get to, and again, congratulations. Are there any questions from the floor or online? Did we see a hand, Jesse? Oh, okay. Okay, Councilmember, congratulations, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. So just going back to our regular business here in the regular course, and thank you all for accommodating the council member. Just want to make a note on our public session. Typically, we have public session available for sign up before prior to the meeting or until 6:45 that day. Given that we started a bit late, I think we can say until 6:55 today. I believe there's still a sign up in the back, or if you want a motion to Leslie up here, our first vice chair, that you intend to speak. I really want to make this very clear that we always want to be welcoming and available to hear from the community. That is such an important function of the community board and the public session, but we also need to be fair and consistent. And for that reason, I really want to emphasize that at this meeting and at meetings going forward, we really need to honor the sign up timing, just in the vein of being, again, respectful and fair to all who want to speak. So we will ask that you limit your comments to 2 minutes. And we will ask that tonight you have until 6:55, but in general, you make a note that until 6:45 or at any time preceding, you can alert the community board district office that you're interested in speaking, and we will sign you up. As mentioned, we're limiting to 2 minutes. And because as has become our standard, we need everyone's participation to ensure that we can be out of this space by 9 p.m. That is just the new considerations of this hybrid environment that we're working in. I do want to repeat something that you've heard me now say at several meetings regarding participation and our expectations around participation. Our bylaws state that board members are expected to treat other board members and committee members, members of the community, representatives of the city, state, federal agencies, and elected officials, and all others with respect and courtesy while acting in their capacity as board members. We are also expected to conduct all board affairs with fairness and decorum. Similarly, we request and expect the same of all who attend our meetings as well. We cannot tolerate disruptions or disorderly or disruptive or offensive conduct or comment. We make space for each person to speak during our public session, and disrupting others is unacceptable and directly at odds with our desire and commitment to hear from everyone. We ask that absolutely everyone conduct themselves appropriately, or they may be asked to leave, board members and the public. Additionally, just a reminder to all of our colleagues here in this room, we do not need to be, we are not seeking uniformity in our actions. I think debate is healthy and good, and there's ample time in our committee meetings for that, as well as even here at the board. But unity and the ability to work cohesively and with respect and alignment is paramount. And I really want to encourage everyone, it's not about uniformity, but unity in how we conduct ourselves really is absolutely critical to our functioning. And I ask that everyone really think about that and how they conduct themselves. Moving on, we're going to go to our public session, and we'll turn it to our first vice chair, Leslie Boghosian Murphy, to lay out the ground rules and welcome our speakers.
Thank you, Jessica. This is working great. Jessica already laid down the ground rules, which is great, and the new parameters and the 2-minute time limit for each speaker. So we'll get right into it. And we are going to start with, I'm going to read 3 names because I believe they need a translator, and them. So if I call your name, please come up to the microphone. Yu Zhen Story, Zami Yang, and Zhao Feng Sa. I hope are those the 3? I think we're going to translate your words through an app, if you would like. Okay, come on up, and you can use the microphone, and then.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you tell me, is it Cantonese or Mandarin?
Cantonese.
Cantonese. Okay. Let's see if this works.
Thank you.
So you'll speak and I'll put it on the.
Okay. Jesse, would you like me to go to someone else while we hold for the interpreter, or is this okay? We can wait.
We got some.
Okay.
Your Cantonese interpreter today, I'm proud to serve you. This call may be monitored for training and quality assurance purposes. Hello, is the customer with you?
Yes,
Or do you need me to call them for you?
That's good.
yes, they are with me. So you're at a public meeting. Someone is going to be making a statement. They'll be speaking in Cantonese, and then you'll be translating it for them on the microphone. Okay.
Okay. Sir, you don't mind, can the statement be in a segment?
Yes.
So for accuracy purposes. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Okay. Good. You just doing. Yeah. go ahead.
OK，係大家晚上好。
Hello, good evening, everyone.
係我係張太，住喺
Yeah,
住喺超市。
Mr. Chait.
我咧今晚嚟開呢個會咧，就有3大主題介紹講下我嘅投訴。
My name is Mrs. Chong. So I am having this meeting because I have to mention 3 subjects today about the complaints that I have.
Yeah. 第一咧，我個 apartment 咧有2個睡房，就唔只能夠用2部冷氣機，變咗我住喺頂樓都好熱。
Yes. First of all, I have 3 bedrooms in my apartment, but I can only use 2 air conditioners. So I'm living at the rooftop. The pan. So I feel very hot.
Yeah， 因為我個仔咧係disability 嘅，佢變咗日日要喺個廳嗰度瞓覺，天熱就。
Yes, because my son is a disability, so it's difficult for him. He will need to stay at the living room, especially in the afternoon time, due to hot weather.
Yeah， 以前我剛屋搬嚟嗰陣時咧，佢可以俾我安3部冷氣機，而家又話唔得啦，所以我就投訴呢個問題。
When I moved in, so they mentioned they allowed me to use 3 aircon, but now they restrict me to have another one.
好啦，第2個問題咧，我天冷啦，又凍到我乜嘢咁，夜晚瞓覺要着 jacket 嚟瞓覺嘅，有一個房冇暖氣嘅。
There's 1 room. Out of 3 rooms, there's 1 room without the heater. So when cold weather, I will put on my jacket because it is very cold.
我打咗20幾次電話上去投訴，佢哋嚟檢查，佢就話：哦，嗰條管壞咗啫。等到天熱我哋先可以同你收。2年啦都冇嚟收到，修理。
I make more than 20 calls, and the reason they gave me is because of the pipe. So we will repair that. But it's now more than 2 years' time. It's still not repaired.
所以我今年感冒咗成20幾次啦，冇辦法。所以我去 office 投訴，佢話因為你哋打開個窗口，我話你哋嚟檢查我間屋企嗰日係 over 55度，我梗係要打開個窗口，問我邊度有氧氣吸啊？
So when the 唔好意思啊，Auntie 啊，你可以再重複呢一句冇？
我話我嚟檢查我間屋企係咪個 heater 係冇暖氣嗰陣時咧，佢話因為你哋屋企打開晒啲窗，所以你個 apartment 唔夠溫度暖氣啊。
Yes, because 睇下先啊 ，Auntie， 你話55度應該係好熱，但係啱唔啱啊？
佢話要 under 55度以後先有暖氣啊嘛。佢話今日冇55度，所以你哋仲要打開啲窗 所以啲 heat 唔夠暖啊，你個 apartment 咁嚟回覆我啊 office。
好凍，
係啦，
所以好凍㗎
係
啊。OK，get 到，唔該，收到。Yes, I went to the office and I complained to them. And when they check, when they came to my house and checked, they mentioned that this is because I opened up all my windows. So I shouldn't have opened all my windows. But at that moment when he was there, it was 55 degrees.
So we
So
gave,
I had to open the window.
so we gave double time,
Yeah.
just to make sure, but
Okay.
we know this is a landlord issue, obviously. And I think it's I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Is it,
Can you ask her to identify where she lives?
Yes. 你其實你係住喺邊一個單位咧？
我住喺超市2AA 10 Avenue 12B
Yeah.
apartment。
12B apartment 2AA Avenue 啊，啱唔啱啊？
10 Avenue 10啊10 Avenue
But
係
okay,
啊
I live in Charles 10 Avenue apartment 12B E for boy。
，yeah。仲
yeah,
仲有另外一個咧，我哋個電梯經常壞，我就要去後邊嗰座個電梯行落個 roof 行落嚟，我隨時俾警察拉嘅，因為我唔上得樓梯，我自己有 disability。咁你話
because I'm also 唔好意思。
唔緊要，我行 roof 㗎，如果警察拉我，我都冇辦法，我要同 office 講嘅就唯有。
yeah, it seems like this is a NYCHA.
好，
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll contact you and we'll definitely get the information. Thank you. Keep the translator, Jesse. Does someone else have 3 people? He said what you want to say.
we have one more person.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll follow up with her. We will follow up with her. Here, one more individual. Can you ask the gentleman to identify himself and where he lives in NYCHA?
你好，呢個我係沙兆峰，住喺呢個超市呢個26街，我已喺呢度已經住咗30幾年啦。
唔好意思啊 ，Uncle， 你嘅名叫咩名啊？
沙兆峰 SA last name is CHAOFENG。
Yeah, my name is Sa Xiong. So I live at also at Charles 26th Street for more than 30 years.
我嘅公寓咧係面臨着無法接受嘅呢個生活條件，而且我嘅多次嘅維修申請都未曾得到答覆。
My apartment, yeah, I'm living in a condition that was unacceptable. No one replied to me on my concern.
我舉例講呢幾個問題咧，就係我住喺呢個30年前，我搬入嚟住嗰陣時，個地板已經係爛噶啦。到現在為止30年後，個地板都冇整到。
When I first moved in 30 years ago, the floor were damaged. Until today, it was at the same condition.
另外咧，我仲有一個問題就係，我喺呢個21年啊，開始咧突然間有人呢個嚟上門，呢個將我嘅衛生間嘅牆，呢個天花板打開咗個大洞。佢以後咧到5點鐘落班咧就冇咗回事啦。呢個窿咧維持咗幾年，到現在為止都未曾修好。
Uncle 啊，我可以問你一句，我個天花板係咪廁所嘅天花板？
係咪廁所個大渠嘅呢個通路嚟嗰度？
啊，即係廁所入邊見到個窿嘅啱。
係。
Yes. So I remember in year 2021, someone came to my house and he opened up a big hole on the ceiling of my bathroom. And that hole is still exists right now.
I think, thank you. I think that's time, but thank you. We understand, and this is Jesse, something that obviously has to be separately followed up on, right? We can.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're good. We're gonna have now other people that signed up that are here in person, then we can go after the in-person people. Oh, do you want? Yes, go ahead. Oh, wait, we have in Mandarin. Oh, different. Okay, no worries.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay. While we wait, is Jesse Ziegler here? Yes, go ahead, please. Absolutely. Stand right here if you'd like. Have the floor. Okay, do you mind waiting because we have a translator on?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, the customer's with me here. We're at a public meeting and they'll be making a statement. And you'll be translating the statement for them. If you can introduce yourself to the speaker and let them know to ask them to speak in segments for your translation, that'd be great. Hold on one second.
Okay, no problem. 你好，我是你的中文评估理部培训还有保证服务这个电话可能会被监听，他们是他们就是说话的时候是一段一段的，然后呢比较容易给我们翻译给他听。
OK， 你好，我呢叫 Story U， 我在切尔西亚爱迪生是那里的居民，在那里已经住了10年了。但是我认为这公寓状况呢是需要改善的。你翻译一下吧。
I've been a resident in Edison for 10 years. I think the condition of the apartment needs to be improved.
我住在高楼的，我反映5个问题。第一，我住高楼那个水压太小，水量很小，所以晚上需要很长的时间洗澡。第二，洗手间的那个通风系统一直是24小时作响，所以影响我们睡眠。第三，厨房和洗手间的水槽常常要堵塞和漏水，所以给我们楼下的居民造成很大的麻烦。
Because I'm staying in the very high-rise building and I'm in the very high floor, the pressure of the water pressure is too low and the amount of water output is too small. And it is taking a lot of time and very long time for me to take a shower at night in the bathroom. Second, and the ventilation system is on for 24 hours a day, and it is affecting our sleep. The things in the kitchen and the bathroom are often clogged and blocked and leaky, so it is causing the residents downstairs.
冬天的时候都难，但是有的时候热的让人无法忍受，然后要开空调，要开窗户降低温度，呼吸也很困难。但是有的时候又没有暖气，把我们冻得瑟发抖，然后我们年纪大的人多次感冒，每年都这样。
And the heater in the winter sometimes is too hot, and we have to turn on the air conditioner to cool down the temperature, or we have to open the window to lower the temperature. and sometimes it is too cold and the heater is not hot enough and it's very difficult to breathe because the coldness is making us shivering.
还有糟糕的是，蟑螂和老鼠好像是我们的家庭成员，所以我们反映了很久的时间，但是一直没有改善过。你翻译一下。
And another very bad thing is that fish and rats seems like members of the house, and we have been reflecting the problem for a very long time, and they have not improved it.
Thank
So,
you.
Yeah, no, hold on one second. Can you just ask her to make her final statement just because we have other speakers that need to speak, okay? Okay.
The last one，就是他说我们是我们住的是60几建筑，但是呢，这里住的是一群老人，到处都是霉菌、漏水，电梯呢有故障，全都是蟑螂老鼠，很难住。
Thank you.
A group of old people staying in here and full of mold, leaking, and the elevator is rotten.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we still have the translator on? Jesse, do we still have the translator on?
Who's asking?
I'm talking over here. Oh, do we still have the translator on? Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're going to go back to the people in the room who have signed up. And in order, you can just come up here to the podium. Jesse, again, Ziegler, Raphael Schweitzer, and Mary Jones. And you'll each get 2 minutes. Sure. And for the record, when you guys get up, can you say your name? So that
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jesse Ziegler. I represent the Department of Small Business Services. I'm the Deputy Director of Intergovernmental Affairs. And I came here this evening to tell you about SBS and sell you on Small Business Month. So the Department of Small Business Services helps unlock economic potential and creates opportunity for New Yorkers by connecting them to good jobs, creating stronger businesses, and building thriving neighborhoods across all 5 boroughs. We're working every day to make New York City the most desirable place to start, operate, and grow a small business. We do that by offering in-person and online education at one of our 7 New York City business loops.
Lost you. We lost you there.
I let Jesse know.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, you're back on from what I can see.
Just in the interest of time, I'll wrap it up, make my pitch. May is Small Business Month. Shop local, shop small. For every dollar you spend on a small business, 70 cents stays in the community. You can do that by visiting our site, Shop Your City website, where you can search for unique opportunities, businesses you've never heard of, and right next door in some cases. And we also have tips on how to support businesses after you patronize them. And Wednesday, May 29th, SBS is going to be relocating our offices to Pier 36, 299 South Street. Tickets are free. It's our first ever NYC Small Business Expo. We'll be basically providing all the services that we have in person. You show up, we'll hook you up right there.
Thank you very much.
And material in the back with QR code. Thank you.
Thank you. Raphael and then Mary, go ahead.
Testing. Good evening, everyone. My name is Raphael Schweitzer. Speaking of Small Business Month, I am organizing the 5 Borough comic book store tour. Now, we all know what a comic book store is. Yeah, that's right. So they're still around. They're still in the 5 boroughs, and there's at least 35 of them. I've done research over the last 3 months, visited pretty much all of them, and starting this Saturday, May 4th, as part of the Jane's Walks NYC, organized by Municipal Art Society, we're going to be meeting at Union Square, 1 p.m., heading to Forbidden Planet, which has been there since 1981. Then we're going to take the N or the R train to Queens, and we're going to visit Silver Age Comics, which has been in Astoria since 1991, and then Everyone Comics, which has been in existence 3 or 5 years in Long Island City. As we know, if you're a small business in New York City, you have no right to a lease renewal, even if you've been there for 30, 40, 50 years. Once the lease is up, you could be kicked out. Once the lease is up, the rent could go up double, triple, there's no limit. So it's really up to us to support all of these historic stores that support and preserve culture, because comic books are culture. They don't only sell comic books. They sell collectibles, toys, trading cards, vinyl, VHS, CDs. So my goal over the next few months doing these tours is to get as many people to go to these stores as possible so we can appreciate them and really maybe even start a movement to make these stores, what are they called? Landmarks. There we are. Sorry. This is my 24th community board meeting this year. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm going to as many as I can. I also enjoy going to these meetings, and it's great to have such welcoming chairs and district managers that allow people with language barriers to communicate. That was exceptional. You deserve a lot of appreciation for that. So flyers are on the table, or I'll relieve the podium and go and give one to you, and join me and everyone else Saturday, May 4th, 1 p.m. Union Square.
You must have been to 24 meetings because you got that at the second number 1.
There's also a clock in front of me.
Oh, it's pretty impressive. Miss Jones, you're up.
My name is Mary Jones. I'm for Fulton Housing. The reason why I'm here is because I am for them, the new bill. And the reason why I'm here for the new bill, because we have so many damaged apartments that need to be fixed. You got some people that just want renovation. That's not enough. We have bad pipes. We got people dictating to us what we should do and what we should not. Because the thing is, these people, y'all don't live the way we do. And I think we all deserve good places to live. We live in the project, yes, but that doesn't mean we are project. We need to live just like everybody else. We have rats, not mice, rats in the building. We have bad pipes. We have the worst situation. And okay, I see the number, but I really think that we should rebuild and not just remodel apartments, because the buildings need more than that. And we don't need people to dictate to us how we live until they experience how to live like that. Because most of the people that's saying, no, it's because they have homes, they have money. They don't have to worry about people getting asthma. I have asthma. My grandson has asthma. Sometimes we get up, we can't breathe. My grandson is 3 years old. I had to wake up in the middle of the night to rush him to the hospital. Because why? Because it's so many films, and then you can smell them people going to the bathroom. You smell everybody smoke. The buildings are dirty constantly. People come in, they clean these buildings. The next day, it's the same way. We need more. We need people there that's gonna protect us, make sure we get what is rightly due to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have our last four who are here today with us. I'll call your names and all four just come up. Alexa Cruz, Marnie Halasa, Salinas Miranda, and Jackie.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm a NYCHA resident since 1969. I'm sure you've heard it before. I'm not for demolition. I want to save Section 9. And not everyone has the problem with the rats and the mices. You have to upkeep it. You know, it's really embarrassing when, you know, people say things like that because not everybody lives dirty. I just don't want the RFP, the proposal, any type of proposal from Essence related or whoever. So please save Section 9. Thank you. The Cruz.
Thank you. And then you can just go in order. That's okay.
Salinas Miranda from the Elliott Buildings. There's been talk about starting a new RFP, but it's what got us into this mess in the first place. HAC was brought onto our development with the participation of only 6 tenants from my Elliott Chelsea campus. And now demolition is ready for approval on a 16% count. 84% are against demolition and 73% against privatization. 73% did not participate in a survey whose only options were to go private. With the intention of keeping private developers away, we chose and made a decision, no privatization, which also means no RFP. Some say there is no political will to fund public housing. Of course, the goal is to do away with it and service corporate developers. They are being favored and our voice is hidden and taken away under the guise of resident engagement. We've been getting to know our neighbors and inform them and provide them with resources. Peter, a graffiti artist, stopped paying rent after months of waiting to have his living room wall repaired. Now his wall is fixed. Jeanne, an Elliott tenant with a hole in her bathroom, after she contacted NYCHA legal department, maintenance finally showed up and closed in her wall. A 99-year-old tenant with dementia slept in the same room with a bulging, crumbling wall. Also instantly had her wall fixed after the TA president was contacted and made to follow through on her responsibilities. NYCHA purposely neglects our buildings, but when tenants are empowered, they have NYCHA meet up to their standards of care. Our president do not educate the tenants. Tenant association meetings are the perfect platform to provide residents with the proper resources. 111 Center Street, Civil Court, where housing matters are solved. 90 Church Street, where NYCHA Law Department is located. And there are many more resources. The funds to maintain our buildings are available. We need resident association advocating for us and tenants to be provided with the proper info.
Thank you very much. Marnie and then Jackie. Do it. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I was part of a group of advocates and also tenants with Jackie. And I think it was 2018, where we actually were able to stop the demolition of 2 of the shorter Fulton buildings, saving the homes of 76 families. But I've said this before, but I just wanted people to know that there's a documentary called Raising Liberty Square, which was the demolition of public housing in Miami, which revealed that only 5 of the original tenants came back after thousands were displaced and a community was destroyed. Watch it. It's quite disturbing, and it's the same developer. Full stop. Number two, the Government Accounting Office has a report that states that HUD does not have the ability to monitor and enforce tenant protections. The report also had serious questions about the long-term preservation of affordable units because the developers do not have to renew the subsidy, so the building will turn market rate. 3, also important is an article titled "The Tenant Never Wins" by Human Rights Watch. The report documents apparently significant increases in evictions and 2 developments which together house 6,500 people. 4, the National Housing Law Project asserted that the developers ignore tenant rights that stipulate in their own leases, like, quote, the right to return, or, quote, only paying 30% of rent. So that's important. And 5, so many legitimate organizations, Human Rights Watch, the Government Accounting Office, the National Law Housing Project, have showed problems with privatization and demolition. Even Legal Aid and Community Service Society are against the demolition. And remember, in the working group, they were for privatization. So I think that's telling. So the reasoning really is that the developer can do a bait and switch whenever they want. They did it. You know, first it was, let's fix it for $366 million. Now we have to demolish.
Thank you,
So
Marty.
there's no accountability. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jackie's last in the room. And just for the people online, we're going to go to Lisa Wager, Miguel Acevedo, and then Kate Madigan, and then Michael Fame, just to get ready online. Go ahead, Jackie.
Ready? We know our developments need repair, but they are fixable. We still live in NYCHA buildings. You have the right to go to 111 Central Street and sue NYCHA for all your repairs. You know, I don't have this problem in my apartment. So I don't know what you're talking about with the mice, with the roaches, with all this nonsense that I've been hearing in Fulton houses, because I don't have that problem in building 1. I live in building 1, and building 1 is pretty cool. As a matter of fact, I had 2 elected officials come to my apartment and I showed them exactly how I live, and they saw how I live. As a matter of fact, they had some food there too. And we have, and you know, you could sue them. You could sue them. You could hold your rent. You know, we have the power to get our apartments fixed. So this is all nonsense. What you're saying, that we can't get our apartments fixed. We could get them fixed. They still belong to NYCHA. And we have a TA board. We have a TA board. Why are they not fixing or helping the residents at Fulton houses? Why are you people lying to all these residents, telling them that they can't fix their apartments because they're going to get demolition? It's all bull. All right. You go to court and you'll get your apartment fixed. Believe me, I wouldn't live the way you people are complaining. Oh, hell no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
All right, now we will go online. Miguel's not there. Okay. So Lisa Wager, can you hear me? Oh, I see Lisa. Hi, Lisa. You'll start us off online, Lisa. Your 2 minutes starts now. I think you're muted, Lisa. Can you hear me? Yeah, you're muted. I see them. There you go.
Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Hello, I'm Lisa Wager, Director of Government Community Relations at the Fashion Institute of Technology, the SUNY College on West 27th Street between 7th and 8th with the Residence Hall on 31st Street in the district. I'm here to share a few updates. It's the time of year when the Graduating Student Exhibition presents the work of more than 600 student graduates from 16 areas of study in the School of Art and Design. The work is the culmination of each student's unique experience in FIT's diverse, challenging, and demanding undergraduate art and design programs, and features juried, award-winning, and thesis projects. The GSE work manifests years of research, experimentation, critical thinking, and artistic skills building, and wonderfully illustrates the college's philosophy of integrating practice in industry with history, theory, and teaching inside the studio. If you come, you'll see work from the departments of toy design, textile surface design, of course, fashion design, packaging design, menswear, illustration, photography, and related media, advertising and digital design, animation, interactive media and game design, footwear and accessories, really fun, interior design, etc. The exhibition will be up from Tuesday, May 14th through the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. It's throughout campus, but much of it is in the museum at FIT, which is free and open to the public 5 days a week and late on Wednesday through Friday. You can find more information at fitnyc.edu/GSE. And here's a cool bit of DIY sustainability from a team of 4 students from the School of Business and Technology. They were represented to selected to represent the United States at the annual World Retail Conference in Paris, an international competition where students present real-life ideas to real-life CEOs from around the world. The brief to the students was to devise a campaign that would help a retailer reduce Scope 3 emissions. That's the carbon footprint a company contributes to, even if they don't directly produce it. And the team's concept, Hang Up, reduces carbon emissions, along with extending the lifespan of the garment, if retailers simply suggest we hang up our jeans to dry instead of putting them in the dryer. And also,
Thank you, Lisa.
Water, we can reduce even more. So how easy is that? Thank you. Enjoy this glorious weather.
Thank you, Lisa. We are going to finish off with our last two. Is Kate Madigan online? Oh, Kate, there you are. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, we could hear you. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Great. Good evening, everybody. My name is Kate Madigan from the Public Theater. I'm the Government Affairs Coordinator. As many of you may recognize, we are the stewards of the Delacorte Theater in Central Park, home to Free Shakespeare in the Park. This summer, the Delacorte Theater is still undergoing much needed renovations. We started this past fall 2023, and we will work throughout this entire year and reopen next summer 2025. We cannot wait to welcome you all and all of NYC to the fully accessible Delacorte Theater in Central Park next year. But part of our Go Public summer programming, Free Shakespeare in the Park will continue throughout all 5 boroughs this summer. Our mobile unit will perform in local NYC parks and plazas from May 28th to June 30th. Their rendition of Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors is a 90-minute show that is also fully bilingual in Spanish and English. We will perform in Hudson Yards, right in front of the vessel, starting June 6th and returning various nights until June 21st. This is a fully free event. You can also stream past recordings of Free Shakespeare in the Park productions from the comfort of your own home. Please visit our website, www.publictheater.org. I'm happy to answer any questions. I hope to see you at Hudson Yards, and good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. We are going to wrap it up with Michael Fay. Michael, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We could hear you. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Hi, my name is Michael, and I'm a lifelong New Yorker here to discuss item 18 of tonight's agenda. On April 17th, I gave a presentation to the Transportation Committee that the southwest corner of 23rd Street and 8th Avenue should be co-named after New York's biggest rock band, Kiss. I'm asking the board to reevaluate the application based on multiple factors, including their connection to the community, their history in the Chelsea area, charitable causes, and impact to rock and roll and millions of fans. The inception of the band occurred on 23rd Street by 4 New Yorkers who, while creating the band, were also serving the area, working different occupations, one of which being taxi drivers for Chelsea residents. As per Section A of the Co-Street Naming Standards, which states in part whose contribution to art have had a lasting impact on the city, state, country, or the world. Kiss started and ended their performing career as a New York band. Their 50-year legacy has impacted fans around the world and multiple generations in a positive light. Since 1975's album Dressed to Kill, which is behind me, the album cover has inspired fans to flock to 23rd Street and 8th Avenue to take photos recreating the cover in the same spirit as the Beatles' Abbey Road. Different than most street co-namings, the street pole itself is historically significant. Many hip-hop artists, including Run DMC, Wu-Tang Clan, and recently the Beastie Boys, have been honored with street name signings, all of whom have surviving and deceased members. I would ask the community board to follow this precedent and honor New York's rock legacy with a band that was truly iconic and born out of Chelsea, Kiss. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'm glad you got to choose that you came here. That was a little Kiss reference, if anyone, maybe not. No one gets it. Okay. But here ends our public session. Jessica, back to you.
Great. Thank you, Leslie. And thank you all. Just in case it seems like some people came after the meeting started, I just want to remind everyone that for public session, we are really implementing and going to be consistent with the sign up time out of fairness and respect. And so we're asking everyone to sign up by 6:45. you could sign up now for next month. You can do that at any time with Jesse or the district office or myself. So we are not in any way trying to limit participation, but do need to have this be consistent. So I know there were some people who wanted to speak today, came after the timeline. You're welcome to sign up for next month's meeting. As we move on, you all have a copy of the agenda in front of you. Can I get a motion to adopt? Thank you. Can I get a second? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? Okay, we're moving on. And you have the minutes. I want to again thank Katie Stokes and Alice Wang, Alice in her official capacity as co-secretary, for their contributions to the minutes. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes? Thank you. Second. Thank you. All in favor? Great. Any opposed? Thank you. Up next, we're going to hear from our elected officials. I'm just going to again ask that everyone respect our 2 minutes. We have a very full agenda as is typical these days. So we'll ask everyone to be considerate of that. Do we have any folks in person who are, please come on up. Great. And Ben, if you want to come up next, and we'll, do we lose our timer? Okay, we'll go ahead, come up, introduce yourself, and we'll set the timer for you.
All right, good evening. My name is Evelyn Collado, and I'm the Manhattan Borough Director for New York City Comptroller Brad Lander. Thank you for the opportunity to participate today and address you. So there are 3 things that I want to talk about this evening. The first one is we launched a housing campaign last month with the New York City Progressive Caucus and hundreds of housing advocate and organizations called the Homes Now, Homes for Generation campaign that was picked up by the Council Preliminary Budget. So it's calling for $2 billion for permanently affordable housing, as well as, preservation and new construction. The funding will go to 2 HPD programs, the Open Doors and the Neighborhood Pillars programs. We have tomorrow and on the 6th, we have a couple of briefings for community boards. I haven't seen community board 4 signing yet, but I will encourage you to do so. We are having this conversation with all the community boards in the city to get, to present and also to get feedback from the community. The second thing that I want to mention is we added a new dashboard to our website, is the charting homelessness in New York City dashboard. It will track the shelter population in the city. The data is populated by age, family type, race, and other factors such as, exits with vouchers, etc. This information will be upgraded, regularly as we get the information from the city agencies. And the third thing is we are having a panel on May 22nd, Brooklyn Borough Hall from 5 to 7 p.m. And it's on Brown versus Board, 70 years since the case. And it will look at the state of integration in New York City public schools. It's a panel, it's a discussion, and I invite all of you to attend. Thank you.
And Ben, just introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Ben Lowenstein from Assemblymember Simone's office here. Assemblymember Simone recently finished passing the state budget in Albany, and here's some highlights. On housing, I encourage you all to read his full statement on our website, as the deal that was reached with the governor is wide-ranging. To be brief, this deal, while by no means perfect, lays the groundwork to begin addressing the housing emergency. We must increase supply, and this deal will do that through a new Mitchell-Lama program, incentives for affordable housing development and office conversions, and a significant investment in transforming currently vacant state-owned sites into housing. This deal takes important steps that we're proud to support. Unfortunately, the version of good cause in this legislation is not good enough. But we are confident the Assembly majority will fight and build on this year's budget in future years until all tenants are safe from unconscionable rent increases and profit-driven harassment. Assemblymember Simone especially wants to thank CB4 for your years of forward-thinking leadership on housing, from the creation of your affordable housing plan to rational proposals on developing state-owned properties and modifying the FAR cap. You've ensured that Westside Voices were part of the conversation. There have been so many meetings over the past year of housing discussions where he has said, you have to read CB4's plan. We're especially pleased with the new enforcement powers that have been added to addressing the issue of illicit cannabis stores. Now the OCM will have the power to order stores to be immediately padlocked for egregious violations or second violations. Additionally, the sheriff's office will now have the power to require landlords to take action to remove the occupant within 5 days. We expect these new laws to be used by the end of May. We're also pleased to announce that this year's budget will include Sammy's Law, which will allow New York City to lower the speed limit to 20 miles per hour. This budget also addressed the issue of insulin accessibility. This life-saving medication will no longer be subject to copays or any cost-sharing requirements. The Assembly also passed a number of measures to address the public safety concerns around retail theft, including categorizing assault on a retail worker as a Class E felony, creating a new crime of fostering the sale of stolen goods online in order to combat stolen goods crime rings, allowing prosecutors to charge thieves with grand larceny from separate thefts, and creating a tax credit for small businesses to cover retail theft expenses and security.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Perfect timing. Great. We're going to go online. We have Hannah Wienerman from Congressman Nadler's office, and then Robin Frost.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Wienerman from Congressman Jerry Nadler's office. I wanted to flag a few items that Congressman Nadler's been working on since we last provided an update. So Congressman members Nadler and Menendez introduced the Protecting Communities from Helicopter Noise Act. This bill directs the FFA to study helicopter noise within a 15-mile radius of the Statue of Liberty and examine potential solutions for diverting helicopters away from residential and recreational areas. Congressman Nadler applauded the EEOC's finalized rule implementing the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, a bill that he fought for years to get passed, which includes abortion in its definition of employer accommodations required for, quote, pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions. This is consistent with the longstanding interpretation of the same phrase in Title VII. He had led a letter with 82 House Democrats urging the EEOC to include this coverage in their interpretation of the law back in October. Congressman Nadler has joined the chorus of local elected officials in condemning the appalling resolution 248 passed by the Community Education Council District 2 that targets transgender girls in sports. Our trans students have the same right to participate in extracurricular activities like sports if they wish to do so. Instead of protecting children, this resolution only further stigmatizes and endangers them because it sends a message that transgender kids do not deserve protection as afforded to them by our human rights laws here in New York. And lastly, a quick casework update. So the Social Security Administration announced it would decrease the default overpayment withholding rate for Social Security beneficiaries to 10% or $10, whichever is greater, from 100%. So this significantly reduces financial hardship on people with overpayments. People placed in the 100% withholding during this transition period should call the Social Security's national 1-800 number at 1-800-772-1213 to lower their withholding rate. So if you have any specific questions about that, you can feel free to call our office and we'd be more than happy to walk you through the process. Have a great rest of your meeting. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you, Hannah. We'll turn now to Robin Frost.
Hi, how are you? Thank you. I know you have a big agenda and I will be brief. Earlier this week, the mayor announced an initiative to fight hate crimes in New York City schools. There's a program called Teaching About Hate Crimes and Their Impacts that has been developed under the auspices of the Department of Education and the New York City Office for the Prevention of Hate Crimes. The program is targeted to students in grades 6 through 12, and it's also available as a virtual resource to the public on the Office for the Prevention of Hate Crimes website. We are living in difficult times, and I think that educating our younger people on hate crimes is a very important thing to do. The other thing I wanted to mention, and Jesse and I believe that you will be hearing from the Department of City Planning shortly, if you haven't already. But the mayor announced the launch of the public review for the City of Yes for Housing Opportunity. With a 1.4% vacancy rate in apartments, housing in the city, we are in a crisis. And our community boards, borough presidents will play an active role in the City of Yes, and ultimately this will go to the City Council for review and a vote. There's been a lot of talk about this. I think the underlying theory or desire is that we're looking to create a little more housing in every neighborhood in the city with carefully created zoning changes. And hopefully this will alleviate the crunch and build a more hospitable, habitable city for all of us. Happy to take any questions if there are any. If not, I pass it back to you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you. With that, that will conclude our hearing from our elected officials, and I'll turn it to our district manager.
Hi, I'm Jesse Bodine, District Manager for Community Board 4. My report will be brief. So as I already explained, the state budget renewed the open meetings law with the amendments that they put in place last year. No changes have been made, so we will continue on with the exact same process that we've been doing for the last year, pretty successfully, I think. For the month of May, there's just 2 committees that will be meeting on slightly different dates. Arts, Culture, Education, and Schools Committee will be meeting on Monday, May 6th, rather than the second Monday of the month. That was just due to, unfortunately, a scheduling mishap. And so we had scheduled everything around that point. So I understand there's some members that are not going to be able to attend because of the conflict. And I apologize. And then the Executive Committee will be meeting on Tuesday, May 28th, instead of its normal Monday. All other committees are meeting on their regular scheduled dates and times. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Jesse. For the chair report, I want to both thank Jesse for all of his hard work and contributions. I'm sure you all join me in that, and specifically tonight for supporting the translation, and just acknowledge that that is like our taxpayer dollars at work and a terrific service that's available, and we should be using that at any meeting or any other environment that we need. Additionally, I just want to acknowledge and kind of put a pin, say that we've obviously the state has concluded its state budget process. There'll be a lot that has direct impact here in our district, and we'll be unpacking that in the coming weeks, and I'm sure year ahead. And more locally, just a few quick updates on, for one, the Port Authority bus terminal. You know that there's been a tremendous amount of work done by the working group on this now for many years and has been reported on regularly. The working group continues to meet, and as has been discussed previously, the plan is on a very expedited timeline to ensure the availability of federal financing to complete the project. And what that means now for us now is that the Port Authority will be coming for a ULURP application to Clinton Hell's Kitchen land use in June. We're hopeful, we anticipate that there'll actually be discussion on this to prepare for that June meeting at the May meeting. We're waiting to see exactly what the parameters of that discussion will entail. So we anticipate that. But I do want to encourage, given this quick timeline and such a massive project, that all relevant and interested committee leadership and members and the public attend that meeting on, on May 8th and then in June. For City of Yes, you heard Robin mention that we're now in the third and final City of Yes, which is City of Yes on housing opportunity. DCP will be presenting to Housing, Health, and Human Services tomorrow, May 2nd, and all interested members should attend and provide feedback to Joe and Maria. That committee is really taking the lead, as in past City of Yeses, other committees have done, but really on behalf of the entire board and other groups. So please do send your feedback to them. And again, tomorrow DCP is presenting. This will also be on the May 8th Clinton Hell's Kitchen land use agenda, and on the May 20th Chelsea land use agenda. So those will be other opportunities for you to provide feedback if you're so interested. NYCHA, just very briefly, but as was previously shared, we've adopted a monthly meeting to advance the discussions on the NYCHA proposal, and these meetings continue. I do want to acknowledge that the survey results were presented at the last Chelsea land use meeting, and obviously those meetings are recorded. So you could both reach out to the co-chairs or any members of the committee for any feedback about how that went, or you could tune into the meeting as it lives online. You heard from our city council member that the citywide casino text amendment did pass. And as you heard, he's outlining a plan for what continued engagement will look like as proposals and projects continue to advance. And I'm sure we will all be interested in how we keep very close to that, recognizing we have several proposals in our district. I did want to also mention just the vessel. You may have seen some of the news coverage. I remember being frankly in this, not this room, but maybe next door when we first faced the news of the suicides that were happening, that began taking place. Related has announced that they will be reopening the vessel with improved safety measures. Their plan, which is good and important news. Their plan does include continuing to charge for admission, something we have indicated is a contradiction to the original proposed use of the space, and there's no clear timeline for reopening. We'll obviously keep you all posted on what we, as that issue continues to unfold. Lastly, I just want to mention Hudson River Park Trust is beginning a process for the redesign of the Esplanade. We expect this will be going to WPE soon and look forward to that. Oh, and I did get a question. We thought we would have heard by yesterday our new board member assignments. We have not yet heard, but obviously we'll look forward to working closely with all of you as we look to make those placements and, you know, find good uses for all of these new interested, hungry folks to join and support our work. So more on that, and I'll be happy to share that once we have that available. With that, we'll move to the business portion of our meeting. And so tonight we are going to start with Clinton Hell's Kitchen land use. And I believe Paul Devlin and JD together, one of you will present. JD is going to present. I believe there's a mic on your table. Though feel free to come up here if you would.
Thank you, Rachel. Am I on? I think I'm on.
Yeah.
This is from Clinton Land Use. It's the second letter about the Midtown South rezoning effort by the Department of City Planning. We had a letter last month. This is another letter. We'll probably have another letter when it comes to ULURP. So it's basically the same thing. It went through the executive committee. We're all for it. Repurpose those buildings, make them residential. It's great. We just have some concerns, and that's what the letter's about. And it's from the executive committee. So if you don't like it, talk to Jessica.
So the letter did have to go through exec because we had to send the letter due to a timeline issue. It's a very well done 7-page letter, another, you know, impressive work out of this committee. Thank you, Paul and JD and all those who contributed. And Joe, and all the many who contributed, I have no doubt. Okay, no question. Are there any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
We will still vote on it. Yes. We are now going to move to ACES, Matt or Josephine. And you're free to come up if you'd prefer, or at the table, whatever you're comfortable with. Oh, and Katie, come on up.
Hello. So we have 2 letters on the agenda tonight. I am talking about the class size reduction letter. This has been, I don't know, my daughter first entered elementary school. We were already having these discussions and she's getting ready to graduate. So that's how long this has been going on. So we're very hopeful that with this new law that these class sizes will finally be reduced. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Hey, so I'm speaking about letter 3, which probably you've seen. This is the letter about a resolution passed by Community Education Council 2, where they requested that the Department of Education's gender guidelines be reviewed by a new committee put in place. And it was very clear from their discussion and from the history of this resolution that this is actually about trying to ban trans girls from sports. So this letter is condemning that resolution. The DOE's already condemned it. The DOE has already said this recommendation from the CEC is hateful and we're not going to do anything with it. We're certainly not going to form a committee, and our gender guidelines are certainly going to remain in place. So this is us reaffirming what the DOE has already said, but also asking the DOE to do two things. We're asking the DOE to have their investigative units see if any statements by the CEC violate their own code of conduct. We're also asking them to require mandatory training for all CEC2 members about their code of conduct and anti-bullying and anti-discrimination rules.
Any question, JD? You need the mic. It's coming to you.
I support this letter 100%, except I do not think we should mention the name of a board member in a letter, especially in a situation like this. We can have a quote, but we should not mention an individual just in case the repercussions. Secondly, sorry, Katie.
It's okay. Do you want me to respond to that one first?
No, I'll wrap them up. Or you can ignore them. It's okay. But secondly, there is some language in the letter where we call the other side bigots, or there's some language like that. And for me, I just don't think that's effective to try to change minds. Again, I support 100% what the letter is about, but I think we need to be careful about our language in all our letters, but especially we should not single out an individual by name, especially in a case like this.
Thank you, JD. And I should mention that we've already gotten a friendly amendment suggested to us by the very member who's quoted, Carrie. She did present to ACES, and we did absolutely run this whole letter by her before we ever included her name. But after it was circulated to the committee, she suggested that we take out her the reference to her, and actually she asked to have the quote taken out as well. And it's the quote that includes the language that you just mentioned. So I think, yeah, okay. Oh yes, so to be specific, lines 73 through 76 are being removed from the letter.
Any other, online? Sorry, Carrie. And then Chris.
Thanks. I just want to thank the ACES committee for writing this letter and for being supportive. I think it's obviously I'm the mom of a trans girl. So I have a personal stake in this resolution and its passing, and I find it really shameful. And I do not retract my statement. I only think that the letter and, the disgusting resolution speaks for itself. So it doesn't need to be personalized, but it is personal to me. And I really appreciate Josephine, Matt, and Katie's work on this and their willingness to work with me and hear, all of my lived experiences of what it's like to have a child who is constantly, for no reason, discriminated against. So I very much appreciate you and thank you. And
great.
Okay.
Thank you. Chris.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Carrie. I just wanted to add one other thing, and there might be another question. Towards the end of the letter, we talk about the human rights law, and we do want to specify that it's actually the Gender Act under the human rights law that states that students are protected, trans students are protected from discrimination in educational institutions. So it's very important to mention that that is the law in New York State. So the CEC, I was a member of the CEC and was quite shocked when I saw this, because our role is really to keep kids safe and not to exclude, very minority populations. And there is no, trans population represents maybe less than 1% of, the entire population. So this was just very much directed at them. And so we wanted to be very clear about that. Was there another question?
Chris has his hand up.
Okay, hi,
Yeah,
Chris.
actually, I wanted to make sure that you cited the Gender Act, because it's not just a a 1% issue. 1% of student population affects the whole of the student population. It's not a minority thing. It's whether or not we're protecting our children. And so, Carrie, I truly do appreciate you sharing your experience and your journey as a parent here. I want to thank everybody for this letter. Yeah, I'm for this, for the record. I appreciate you all in this matter, especially somebody who participated in high school sports in the public school system in CEC2. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to BLP. It looks like, oh, Frank, you have the mic. Great.
Yes. The BLP matters were relatively uncontroversial, so I don't think I need to summarize any, but as always, I'm happy to answer questions about any of them.
Oh, sorry. We will need the mic. I can. Okay. Thank you.
Number 8, it's a rooftop garden, a rooftop bar company.
Yeah, so this is a building almost directly opposite the Intrepid on the West Side Highway. It's a multi-story building. It already has an event space that we approved with outdoor space. These are going to be pickleball courts 1 floor higher. The whole operation is closing at 10 p.m. nightly, which will include the outdoor space. I went to look at it. The nearest people who could possibly bother are the Print Hotel over there, which is a full block away. So we didn't have any concerns about the outdoor space.
Thank you.
We have one question over here and then actually Brad in the back. So maybe we.
Just further clarifying, Frank, that's the brick house?
The one JD was asking about?
Yes.
No, that's number 8, the Hell's Kitchen Pickleball. Oh, with the building?
In the building.
I don't know the name of it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So the rooftop space really it's in a very strange area, and sound does not seem to carry at all from there. Just
right. Yeah. No. In fact, when we're up there, it's well above everything else. So I think the sound will disperse well.
Great. Thank you, Brad.
I think they call it the glass house. Just to clarify for my education, what is the rule if I rent it on the 12th floor of an office building and I come to and I asked, I want a liquor license? Like, what's our parameter on? I think this is fine. I looked up the building and I get it, but I'm just curious on what is that rule? Because we've approved some of these, I've started to see a lot more of these come through.
Are you asking about the outdoor space or
just having a liquor license inside an office building?
Well,
because this is an office building.
Yeah. No, it's basically an event.
Well, it's made into an event building, but it's considered office. Am I right, Joe? It's an office building. I'm not saying I'm against this one. I'm just asking, what is the rule in general?
It actually was a manufacturing building that was added on to.
They add at the top.
Yeah. And that may have a commercial C of O, but they built it as event space, to my knowledge.
Well, I get that. I'm saying in this case, I understand it, but what is in general? I rent the space. I say, you know what? They're approving these liquor licenses all over. I want to have a little club up here on the 12th floor. We're converting office buildings to residential as well. Yeah. What is the?
I mean, we really have to take them one at a time. I mean, we don't go out and make statements about where we want liquor licenses. Someone wants to apply to the SLA, they have to come to our committee. We really, when we take them one at a time. I mean, we haven't faced that many truly in office buildings. In fact, I'm not sure we've faced any yet.
Well, I remember when WeWork was coming and they asked for liquor license in some of their spaces to have events.
Okay, well, I think
and we approved those.
Yeah.
What I'm just saying is, have you seen more of those? So there's no law stating you can't be in an office building, none of that.
No.
It's the same, just can't be by the church, can't be by the school.
Exactly. And then there's the 500-foot rule when you have more than 3 within 500 feet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Okay. Thank you, Frank. Sorry.
I think we have seen a lot in Hudson Yards, a lot of catering operation, a lot of floors.
And I think that as we are proposing to convert some of the offices to residential, we're going to have to think about what's the priority here, but we are not there yet. We have to see some examples, I guess.
Right. I think there are two issues, and I think Brad was asking about one. I mean, we've had a lot of companies that come and want to have their catering companies come, and they're essentially private events. You have to be a guest or an employee of the company to use that, and those liquor licenses apply to these essentially private spaces. I think your question was going to a public space like a bar or this pickleball thing where the public can come and it's located in an office building. And that's what I meant when I said we really haven't seen many of those. But again, we'll take them one at a time as they come up.
Yeah, we do have on, it's the item number 7, which is an office building. And that's the 12th floor, 10th floor. And they specifically said it's primarily the tenants of the office building. They did not say that they will stop someone from who goes up the elevator and wants to be at the bar, but primarily in the office building.
Thank you.
And that's what I think we have to worry about, right? Because I want to open up a club. Here we go. I mean, we're saying yes to them and I understand it, but I just wonder, think about what we think about this going forward, because I think we're going to see a lot more of it, especially with office rent going down, open space, just curious on what our thoughts are.
Absolutely. And, thanks for the reminder for us to keep it in mind as we get them going forward, if we do, as seems inevitable, as you said.
Great. Thank you all. We're going to move on to transportation. Jesse and okay. I know. Sorry, was there? Okay. Oh, here. Okay.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Transportation Committee this month. All right, we have, I think, 5 items. I'll go through them quickly. We have a letter in support of a block party on July 13th for the Poster House in Chelsea. There is a typo in the letter. It is not in celebration of their 10th anniversary. It is, in fact, only in celebration of their 5th anniversary. But I do not think that should dampen the celebration regardless. I think there's plenty to celebrate there. And there will be poster making for anyone who attends, which I'm excited about. We have a letter in support of another bus permit on 11th Avenue across from the Javits Center. Normally, those are not particularly controversial. We have a letter to the DOT about congestion happening on 9th Avenue. People are picking up and double parking, triple parking outside of Chelsea Market, and it's causing backups up 9th Avenue and especially to the M11 bus. So we've made some proposals to DOT, but also we're asking them to study and look at the issue to see what they can do to help speed up traffic. All right, number 18, the letter on the street co-naming for the band KISS on 23rd and 8th Avenue. Now, I know you are all shocked that we, the residents of Chelsea and Hell's Kitchen, did not enthusiastically support an application for a co-naming in favor of 4 men in makeup. But nevertheless, we did ultimately deny it. In all seriousness, we do really recognize the music legacy of the band KISS. We recognize that they are New Yorkers. We recognize that they did get their start in Chelsea, and that is something to be celebrated. But as you all know, the threshold for our street co-namings continues to be exceedingly high. The last street co-naming that we passed as a board was in favor of Richie Henderson, the crossing guard who worked in our district for 30 years and died actually, trying to save someone's life. And so that is when we think about co-naming, renaming a street after someone, in honor of someone, typically, that is the standard that we have in our head. And in this particular instance, we did not think that the band KISS, on top of that, did not show necessarily a strong enough commitment to giving back to this particular area, Chelsea. And in our guidelines, we also have, we pretty much expect if we're going to rename a street after someone that there be absolutely absolutely no opposition to it. And we actually did have a decent amount of testimony at our committee hearing opposed to the street code naming. And so for those reasons, that is why we opposed it. And the last letter, same for very similar reasons. There was an application for the Orchestra of St. Luke's Baryshnikov Arts to rename the street after their organization. Again, we typically take the position that if it's a renaming that ultimately is just going to promote commercial activity, even if it's a nonprofit that does excellent work. And I do have to say, hearing from them at our committee was really eye-opening. This organization does do tremendous work in our public schools, especially towards our public schools music programs, and I do think we should become more aware of them. And we ask them to come here and give updates. But nevertheless, we do think that they still did not quite meet the threshold of what we expect for street co-naming. And the last thing I will say, it's not on here, but we did take a vote at the Transportation Committee to actually form a working group to study the guidelines and consider whether they need to be updated in terms of more explicitly increasing the threshold for a street co-naming, or to take into account whether a particular location is particularly iconic in some way. So we're going to take a look at it, but that's our letters. Any questions? Those are our letters. Yes.
Yeah, Jesse, you mentioned that there were testimony, people coming opposed, particularly to this 23rd and 8th. Can you summarize in 1 or 2 sentences what their basis of their opposition was?
They just did not like the music. No, some people were concerned that people would not understand what the KISS corner meant, and that it might promote unscrupulous activity at that corner. Others just opposed. For others in the community opposed it for the same reasons that we as a board typically oppose, just thinking that the band did not have enough connection to this corner. I will say the reason they did choose this corner, in case it wasn't clear, was because it is where they took the photograph of their 1975 album in front of this corner, and that album was a big hit. So that is why they are seeking an application for this corner. But ultimately, yeah, it was for the same reasons that we ended up voting it down.
Inga? I have a question on number 15 for the poster house. Did anyone from that block or block association attend the meeting?
They did not, but we had proof that it was well posted, and because we had actually spoken to the applicant before the committee hearing and at the committee hearing, making sure that even before they showed up to our committee hearing, that we had evidence that they had gone to their neighbors and made residents aware. So we did not have anyone attend, but we do believe that they committed to, they properly notified anyone who would be affected by this block party.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Rachel.
Hi, it's Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Making sure you can see me today. I have a question on letter 17. So one of the suggestions to the DOT is reducing the green light time on certain streets to improve vehicular traffic. Was wondering if you foresee, or if it was discussed in the committee, if any of these potentially impact pedestrian traffic, because I'm cognizant that it is a highly visited area, and we've had some feedback from the community members in the past about pedestrian safety and space.
Yeah, so absolutely. And I know Christina's going to have more to say. Do you mind passing the microphone to Christine, because she'll be able to handle this? But I will say that our conversation was not just about congestion. It actually was also about pedestrians who try to cross between 14th and 15th, because a lot of those cars who stop in front of Chelsea Market are making a right to get out of there, and it's causing issues for pedestrians there as well. So we're definitely cognizant of that. But Christine can more directly answer your question. Go ahead, Christine.
So in fact, by reducing the green time, you're giving more time to pedestrians. So that was one thing. And second, we recommended that they do a bulb out on each side. And the bulb out would allow pedestrians to be more comfortable and to have less lengths to cross. So we made 2 or 3 recommendations that would definitely help the pedestrians.
And I see Chris has his hand up online.
Okay, thank you so much. With regards to 17, again, was there any conversation regarding the idling of Ubers and Lyfts in front of there waiting for potential fares, and whether or not there was a change? Hold on, whether or not there would be signs up to prevent standing in that area?
Yes.
You want me to take that?
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, if it's not in the letter, it should be, because we definitely
No,
talked
at the
about it.
top of the letter, we
Yeah,
said
right.
that we recommend that Chelsea Market adopts with the meatpacking district a management plan, a traffic management plan, which may or may not include one person making sure that there is no idling and none of those things.
Yeah.
But, the situation is
Why not Department of Transportation, NYPD, moving cars along the way in that area? Why do we rely
first
on
of
a
all,
bid and a
NYPD never
building?
does that. Wait, DOT is not in charge of that, and NYPD doesn't do the job. So this is like a complete waste of time to ask for it.
Okay, so
we
we're
also had a-
asking for them to hire somebody to move traffic along.
We are not asking them, we're asking them to propose to put together a management plan, and I'm sure that our the chair of the meatpacking district will have some ideas about how to do that.
In fact,
I
one of the
know,
ideas we
I'm just
proposed
making
was to
sure
have the
that
chair of the meatpacking
Right.
district himself go around and
it's
patrol.
incredibly nice, Jesse. Yeah, so it is one of the things that
Exactly.
is one of the things that you're considering is CCing Uber and Lyft to ensure that there's an alert for those cars there to tell them, hey.
No, it's like wasting our time,
no. Are we just simply relying on a person and not sending a letter over to the companies that are creating an idling situation?
We could send a letter, but I think it's a wasted stamp.
I love stamps. And I love when people receive them.
I agree.
But are they
You're right, but it's frankly, we can do it.
But they are CC'd on the letter. They're not. They're not. We can throw a CC on. It does. We can throw a CC on. I don't know.
At least it's on the record. Yeah, doesn't matter if they
Friendly
respond.
amendment to throw a CC on to the owners of the market. Any other questions? Otherwise,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to get the mic that's
thank
this
you.
way to Joe. Thank you. And he's going to present on behalf of Housing, Health and Human Services.
Good evening, everybody. We have two items tonight. One about 351, 357 West 45th Street. These are four very troubled buildings with lots of serious illegal activity coming out of them. And a group called Services to the Underserved has proposed 80 units of affordable housing, 11 of which are long-term tenants. The rest are for homeless family referrals. The committee was very supportive of it, but had a series of questions embodying this letter. Things like, they're not permanently affordable. We want them permanently affordable. What will the renovation look like? What is the percentage of ownership between the for-profit developer and the not-for-profit sponsor? However, in general, how they present it, talking about how they manage, run their buildings, very supportive. We want to continue a dialogue. They intend to acquire the buildings in June and then close on the HPD financing in December. This is a new initiative of HRA, and it's using the city FEP subsidy, that's a city rental subsidy, to actually enable an owner to get a mortgage to build homeless housing. So lots of questions, but a good project in total. Any questions on this? Nick? Oh, sorry.
Just a second, Christine.
Could we move the recommendation to the front?
Can I just note the Christine Berthet amendment has been proposed and accepted?
Actually, I have just.
Oh, Katie, yes.
Yeah, sorry. And I just have in line 207.
Hold on.
Where we're talking. But where we talk about encouraging them to relocate the current tenants, just after we say current tenants, can we put a comment, say if they desire, another comma, so that they're not living on site during renovation? I don't think we should assume that they don't want to be on site, because I think it really stresses some people out.
No, I understand fully. I'm picking up on the board's direct experience with 332,
No, I know that there's bad history. I just think.
No.
Let's just add.
Not bad history with this building. The board was with a project on West 51st Street where the tenants said they wanted to stay. And then in the end, we had to do a whole scramble to get tenants relocated. So we're saying that as a positive state. And if tenants want to stay, they're going to stay. Because I think the thing here is people will say they want to stay, which happened on 51st Street. And then they said they wanted to be relocated.
Yeah.
So we've been through it, the exact same process.
I just think that we want to show that we are supportive of their desire. I understand that they may.
I don't think we haven't heard about their desire. at all because no tenants have come to speak to us.
Right.
So I would say it's not really a friendly amendment because we talked about this at committee and that's how we landed.
I don't recall us saying
I know
whether or
you-
not we were going to listen to the current tenants. Anyway, it's a suggestion if they desire.
I forgot, I had another question, which is urban pathway. We talked about,
Different letter. We're on
Sorry.
services for the underserved.
sorry.
Any other questions on the services for underserved? Okay, then moving to urban pathways. This is a proposed drop-in center that we were informed of, Jesse, how long ago? A year and a half, 2 years? 3 years ago. It was going to open imminently and we heard nothing forever. The community had a very good presentation report from the provider. Now that they've been held up by lots of issues with the building, lots of issues that they're going to operate it. Urban Pathways was clear, down to earth, talked about reality and how this could work or not work. It doesn't mean that the community is very thrilled and happy with this location, but in fact, we decided that we would support it with conditions. Yes, questions, Christine?
Yeah, I mean, we have had a discussion in the past of listing the providers which were of good quality. Is Urban Pathway one of them?
Urban Pathways has a overall good record, but there are some mixed issues and we did raise it to them in the meeting.
Okay, and then other people going to, I mean, I understand it's not something which is overnight.
No, it is overnight, but it is not residential. You can a drop-in center is a model where if you're homeless, you come in with very low barrier and you can sit in a chair,
right,
take a shower, but there are no beds. You could actually stay in a chair and sleep overnight. Yes.
And what about in the morning? You push people out in the morning?
No, their whole goal in this kind of project is that they are talking to people about social services. And in fact, they are trying to reach individuals who do not want services. So stay and have some breakfast, stay and have another shower. They're not looking to push people out. In fact, the opposite is many people get up and walk out, they explained.
Okay.
We're trying to retain them. Jeffrey?
Just two comments here. One, if anybody wants to see what a drop-in center that's successfully run like, it's on 14th Street next to the Salvation Army. It's on the south side of 14th Street, so it's just out of our district. It's CUCS that runs it, so a different provider, but it has been very well received, and it's a drop-in center, so the same model. I am, as a regular M11 rider at 52nd and 9th, I'm very excited about this drop-in center here, but I asked Joe and Maria to include reference to the fact that the M11 does have a stop at this location. So we need to flag the fact that we don't want confusion about loitering of folks bus stop versus drop-in center use. We just want to flag the context of the location. And then it's really important we set up the CAC, which we are always constant for community advisory committees, but that we need to make sure that they're meeting with us in advance of the opening and also to really tie in Block Association community. There's the women's shelter around the corner. There is a slight concentration of services, but I think overall this is, I should have said thank you for this letter to the HHS committee because I'm happy with to see that it's going.
Yeah, we really worked with them about how do you deal with the exterior? What are you doing? How are you patrolling? How are you managing during the day, during the night? I mean, they were very direct and open, and how they responded to us gave us much more confidence to support it.
Okay, I think we have one more, hopefully one more. Oh, no more. Okay, great. Then I think, Joe, you're off the hook. Thank you. We're going to go to cannabis.
Okay, so we had two letters coming out of the committee, one that actually is new business. If you recall, we had a situation where we had a split vote at committee. On a previous letter, we had the exact same situation, but just to cover what came out of the committee. Letter 22, essentially, we were supportive of this application. We did have some concerns. It is outlined in the letter. I'll stop there for questions on that specific one because I could see one already brewing. Go ahead, JD. I can hear you.
Thank you for the letter. I'm all for it. Just line 32, we say engagement with local block associations and other community stakeholders. Can we make that a little more specific? Can we say something like reach out and engage with to solve problems or something like that? Can we just make that more specific? Because it's an important thing to help these businesses.
Of course.
Thank you.
As my editor, you should have given me that friendly amendment earlier. I did ask for help. Okay, the next letter actually is a holdover letter from the previous month. And essentially that letter was really to outline some of the things that we wanted the state to put into the budget to help with enforcement. We ended up getting almost everything that we had talked about. So this is a thank you letter. It is not exactly what was voted on in committee, but in spirit it is, because these are the things that we were going to ask for. Any questions there? Okay, so now to item 24. This letter didn't come out of committee because it was a split vote. Essentially, if you recall, we had a situation at this almost exact same location. It's the location that is the concern. It is on the corner of 9th Avenue, 38th, 39th. The vote was literally split because we have an even number of people that were in attendance. And the concerns on the negative side, this letter, as you see in your packet, is to actually approve, but the comments on the negative side were all about the location, the concern that there's a concentration of illicit shops in the area. And also there were multiple members of the public that did speak out against not this operator, but again, the location. So what was recognized and what you see outlined in the letter is that this is one of the situations where you see the positive of a very strong candidate, someone who understands the market, someone who would be bringing a more elevated experience to these types of establishments. That was noted. However, again, the only reason why it did not have further support in the task force was because of the comments of the public about the location, as well as the location was an area that was denied initially to a different applicant. So yes, I'm sure there'll be some questions.
Thanks, Dolores. I'm just procedurally, if it was a 50-50, how did it move forward? That's what I mean. But if it's a, so it's kind of, that's what I mean. So it's going around commit. If committee doesn't vote, it's no, I don't.
Can you just clarify that? This is new business that's presented here at the full board, and you have a microphone. And next.
So I thought it did not, I didn't realize that new business would come up. This would come as new business, because I understood it didn't pass the committee. So I had talked to Brian Weber on the precinct council. He had noted that he spoke at the meeting, and on this block of 9th Avenue, in the 8-week period prior to that meeting, there were 43 arrests, 29 for narcotics, 19 of those for sales. There's a major stabbing on the corner of 9th and 39th. Having a direct connection, my office is on 40th Street. My office is on 40th Street. We spoke against the prior one, and I understand that it's a good operator, but the problem is this location remains the problematic location. And I just think that any operator, no matter how many bells and whistles they present, the location is the problem. And we do this without question when it comes to SLA. And we do it in specifics and in detail and we lay out why. I don't understand why the Cannabis Task Force, even though that is not the way the law works, we know how the law should work. Why can we not say that good operator, very upstanding, whatever, and I understand the presentation was very good, but not at this location because we have a surrounding problem. They did not notify the hotel operator in the building in which they're going into. These kind of things, it just says to me that it's the wrong spot. So let's say it's the wrong spot and let's do the same thing. Good operator, seek another spot in our district. And that's what I would propose we do instead of saying approval with. Because I think you're right. Good operators should be lauded for saying they're doing something good, right?
Jeffrey? Oh, sorry. Oh.
Thank you for bringing this as new business to us tonight. I think it's very important, and I guess and then the surprise to a few that I disagree with Joe in the sense that we have to really begin rooting out the illegal operators. And to anybody that wants to check out an establishment in a seedy part of town just off Union Square, go to the travel agency on 13th and Broadway, and you can see what a strong operator can do on an otherwise sometimes a bit seedy block, quite frankly. And I recognize fully the difficulties of this part of Ninth Avenue, but I mean, should we just de-tenant the block? Because that's also not a solution. And we have, meaning eliminate every business on the block because there's issues.
Hold on. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
A few issues do not mean we should not accept the idea of a well-regarded, appropriate legal operator. And so I would certainly hope the board gives us the stamp of approval, gives this operator their stamp of approval on this application tonight.
So just to give a little bit of further clarity on what happened at committee, we had these same concerns. This is exactly how do we go ahead and root for the folks that we know that would actually go ahead and help to solve some of the problem? And what do we do about problematic locations? That is why we were split. And I don't know that we have, I don't know that there's an answer to it. But again, for this particular application, the motion that we tried to pass was to approve with some stipulations. And that's why the letter that was written came through as a motion to approve with stipulations, because that's what we tried to go ahead and pass. Again, we'll leave it open. Wait. Where? Who am I going? Oh. Jesse?
Just for clear, like the reverse of that was also made a motion. You did, yes. Okay, I defer to the.
Remember otherwise? Sorry. Hold on. I have a senior moment here. Do you remember if we voted again the other way? I know. Not me. Not me. I'm a type A personality. I'm totally in control all the time. Do you remember at all? If we? Okay. All right. Sorry. So I'm going to go to
here. I have one. Yeah, so I live like Joe right nearly across the street, is it? All right. So first of all, if we approve that, let me clarify or make sure I understand that within 1,000 feet, we won't be able to approve another one, right?
Theoretically.
No, they are not going to approve. I mean, I understand that the law says that another legal one cannot be approved. Right. Okay. So that's one thing, right? And then, yes, those few blocks are full of illegal operator. But this specific location has been a problem. It has been empty. And also there have been a lot of restaurants, very loud. And so I think that considering all of that, I think this use wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay. Brad, did you have your hand up?
I just like to say, this is a legal operator in a legal situation. We cannot deny them because illegal people are around them. And that's just not fair. We're trying to get the illegals out. But to what Christine just said, if we don't have them there, now it helps them to get rid of the other ones and say you can't be here even because we put permanent one here. So I just think I'm voting for it. I think it's a tough sell. We can't discriminate against somebody against illegal activity around.
Okay. I think, Mike Noble.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I saw the presentation that they made. And one of the things that was so impressive to me was the fact that they went into a bad neighborhood on the West Coast and sort of turned the place around. And I mean, you heard the story yourself. And I think that was really good. If they want to take a chance on doing it, you know, I'm all for it. That's it.
Okay. I don't see any more questions. Thanks.
Thank you. is a new question?
Yes. Dolores, and this is not within the 1,000 feet of the Health Kitchen Collective on 40th and 9th? Because that was one of the questions I had, is that we approved that. We thought that was a good location and a good operator.
So we're mixing up a couple things here. It's about, I mean, it's not the distance. What we're mixing up is who can approve within 1,000. So OCM cannot provide a license once one has been issued within 1,000 feet of one issued. That does not mean that someone can't come and apply and they're right next to each other and we find merit in their operation and we approve them, and somebody very close by also, we find merit and we approve them. We're not determining who gets that license. We're just saying, what are the concerns of the community? What are the stipulations we might like to add? Whether or not we want to approve them overall, but we're not determining who actually gets the license. And then once that license is issued, anyone else we may or may not have approved as a board, they're out of scope because they're within 1,000 feet.
So is our concern going forward on this committee that, like with SLA, the BLP committee, that if we approve something, that's a 500-foot rule, it's a 1,000-foot rule. I just would like us to have some sort of internal authority as to what we're doing and get out of the mishigas of the totally odd stuff at OCM. It makes no sense. We need to sit down. If I can ask, let me ask this. Can I ask the committee to sit down and come up with some guidelines like we did with BLP as to what we approve or don't approve? Because it doesn't make any sense that there's one over here and 1,000 of it here, and see who gets the license, and then OCM's going to intervene.
So they all were given an opportunity to apply at the same time. So
I understand.
Right. And meaning that it's a lottery system. And so it'll be picked out of the lottery who then will be
I know that
reviewed by OCM.
idea.
However, if we were to say, oh, we already picked someone on this block, nobody else, then we really aren't being community minded in terms of giving everybody a fair look, a fair review. And we also don't have the comparison of stipulations, of concerns, et cetera, to be able to voice what are the things in the community that we want to talk about. That's why the few stipulations that we had in the letter were talking about community engagement and specifically clarifying how they were going to operate, and also to reconsider having a consumption lounge.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to respond to Joe's question / comment about having two locations within 1,000 feet that are both approved by the committee. So as some operators have pointed out to us, and this is true, just because someone is approved by the committee board or even approved by OCM, that doesn't mean that a cannabis dispensary is actually going to open in that location. There's also investors and like various other aspects that, like, we have seen applicants that were approved then just, fail to open for other business reasons. And the other thing is that if we approve two applicants, regardless of the order we see them in the community board and approve them, OCM might review their applications in a different order. So the one that we saw second might actually be seen first, and then they get the spot. And we'd at least like to be able to have our stipulations like that the second candidate agreed to because we approved their application. So unfortunately, I mean, as you correctly pointed out, the OCM process is very not ideal. It does not work well with our system. But those are the reasons why it still makes sense to potentially approve multiple applicants within 1,000 feet of each other, even knowing that OCM will not then approve both of them.
And just to say thank you, Sanford, for writing the letter. So I was going to say we probably discussed this enough, and folks are very welcome to join the Cannabis Task Force. Okay.
I can sense that the board is torn on this, and I think I'll make two suggestions that I think would be helpful. One is a Christine birthday suggestion that we should move up or clarify at the beginning that the approval is contingent on the stipulations that are listed in the bottom. It just currently says recommend approval. It doesn't say the stipulations. So and the second point, I think what Joe is trying to say, and I think captures Brad's concern, is I think it'll help everybody. And I mentioned this in the previous meetings too. If there is some kind of not law, but maybe kind of uniform standard or criteria that we can use to be consistent in our messaging, right? Because I do agree that if an applicant is responsible, right, and regardless of how many illegal dispensaries are around, Stanford, thanks for the clarification, it might help us use the same language and also be consistent in our messaging going forward, right?
So
Does
we,
that make sense?
we have been consistent about locations. So we have denied folks in specific locations because of the concern about location. So if there is an issue for consistency, just vote as you think makes the most sense to be consistent, as the board has already voted. And please join the task force. We need more bodies.
Thank you, Dolores. We're going to now move. We're ready for a roll call vote. As I'm going to invite Katie and Alice, if you'd like to come up or not. And as a reminder that everyone should, while we'll verbally announce your vote, everyone should submit either online or in person. And Katie, oh, you have a mic? Okay.
Yeah.
And Katie will repeat the vote into the mic with the name.
Yep. Okay, so we're starting with Ted. Thank you. Yes. Yes to all except no to 22 and 24. Sure. So that was Manha Oweist, and before that was Ted Arenas, and now Roberta Barnett. Present not eligible on 23, yes to the rest, Christine Berthet. Yes to all, Gwen. Thank you. Yes to all, Leslie Boghosian Murphy. Abstain 22. Say it again. Got it. Abstain 24, yes to the rest. Viren Bonbut. Yes to all. Wilson. I'm skipping Jessica. David. Yes to all. Marty DeCott. Not here. Paul Devlin. No on 14. Yes to the rest. Tina D. Yes to all. Thank you. Pete Diaz. Yes to all except abstain on 22. Wendy Gonzalez. Yes to all. Matt Green. Yes to all. Jesse Greenwald. Abstain on 22 and 24. Yes to the rest. Turning the page. Candace. Yes to all. Sorry, that was Candace Hewitt. David Haloka. Not here. Frank. Yes to all. Josephine Ishman. Abstain on 24. Yes to the rest. Inga Evchenko. Yes to all. Carrie Keenan.
Yes to all.
Yes to all. Lowell Kern. Not here. Raul Larios. Not here. Bert Lazarin. No on 18 and 19. Yes to the rest. Chris LeBron. Chris, you're on mute, it looks like.
Sorry, I couldn't find my mouse cursor. It was like on a bigger screen.
Okay.
But I am no on 22, yes to the rest.
No on 22. Yes to the rest. Rachel Lee. Yes to all. Jeffrey LaFrancois. Present not eligible on 17. Yes to the rest. Betty McIntosh.
Yes to all.
Yes to all. Sanford Miller. Yes to all. Gregory Morris. Yes to all. Tina Nelson. Yes to all. Mike Noble.
Yes to all and submitted.
Yes to all and submitted. Well done, Mike. JD Noland. No on 22 and 24. Yes to the rest. Maria, was she tonight? Not here. Sorry. Alan Foster. Yes to all. Brad Pascarella. No on 18. Yes to the rest. Joe Restuccia. 5. You said 16 and what? 22 and 24. Okay, so no on 5, 16, 22, and 24. Yes to the rest. Dolores. No on 24. Yes to the rest. Me, yes to all. Sorry, me is Katie Stokes. Charles Todd. Yes to all. Hector Vasquez. Yes to all. David Warren. Yes to all. Rodney Washington. Not here. Alice Wong. No to 22 and 24. Yes to the rest. And last but not least, Jessica. Yes to all. Okay, I think that's it.
You, Katie. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Second, thank you. Have a great night, everyone.